Hey everybody, it's GW. Glad to have you here. I'm going to be talking here real quick and get this out of the way. Going to be out of pocket here for a little bit, but yeah, it's going to be a good time. I got an important topic to talk about today, though. I really do. And this topic today is voting. And I think that everybody that I talk to has a very strong opinion about how to vote, when to vote, how to do it, whether or not you should do it by mail, whether or not you should do it do one of the early voting sites, whether or not you need to, what is it that you really need to do. I have already voted, and I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. If you listen to these things, you probably have a pretty good idea. But I just can't emphasize enough how important it is to vote. Now, I happened to bump into an article today from a church that was up in Wisconsin, and this was done a long time ago, and they came up during this particular voting session that they had, and this was for a previous presidential announcement, I believe, election, I believe, and the bottom line was they said you need to vote with love, and they had First Corinthians something that was kind of a background for that, and but the message here was when you vote with love, that means doesn't really matter who you're voting for, what you're voting for, what the election is. Possibly it's a referendum that's on the ballot. Possibly it's one of the local small elections that you have, which is really important for the two or three people who are running for that particular office. They have put their heart and soul into that. That is such the American way. And in all honesty, I wish I'd done that at one time or another in my life. I really do, but I didn't. But here's what you do when you vote for love. You vote to help others. Okay, when you vote to help others, that really takes a lot of the question out of the vote. It really takes, okay, should I go with this guy, this lady or that lady, this woman or that man? I mean, who should I vote for? What are they what are they voting for? What are they believing in that I believe in that is going to make me swing my vote? And if I keep in mind that love is important, in that the old adage, love makes the world go round. Well, it really does. When you love one another, it just works. All right, it just works. It means you're looking out after each other. It means that you worry about whether or not they're having a problem and you're not. It means just that you're working together to make all this right. So another thing that we need to have when we vote, and when you vote with love, you're also voting that the country is going to be in a stable manner. Now, when you take a look at what goes on in the world, there is a boatload of instability that's out there. And if you go back and take a look at say, the Russian Missile Crisis in 1962, and you had Lincoln, sorry, you have JFK, and you have Khrushchev out there, and you have these two leaders that are out there. Now, say what you want about them, they had enough nuclear power in their under their thumb, literally under their thumb, that they could have destroyed the other country. Now, the fact of the matter is, if they destroyed the other country, they would have also destroyed our country. So it is so important that you have this stability that you have people that are, okay, all right, I hear the generals over here that want to use their toys, that they do this. And now here are the politicians over here that say, oh, wringing of hands and everything as they do that. They need to listen and be stable enough to listen across the board to everybody, have a few trusted advisors, and be able to come up with a stable, sane solution. That is so important to vote for. You need to have leaders who care about you and care about our nation. Okay, and as they do that, as they go through their process and they're leading us, they if they care about you, they're going to make certain decisions that are good. If they care about our nation, they're going to make some decisions that, in all honesty, some of those decisions might not be best for you, but they are best for the overarching nation. So, they need to care about you and your nation. And they have to vote. You need to vote to allow progress to happen for all, not just the rich, not just the poor, not just one ethnic group over another ethnic group. It has to happen that you have progress, that you can mark progress for everybody as they go through this. That's really important. And you also need to have that you have progress for families. When you take a look at the world today, one of the things that is absolutely indisputable, I believe, when you talk to any sociologist, is that the nuclear family, is falling apart. It just, there are very few families that sit down and eat dinner together and have a regular time that they express what happened during the day and what didn't happen during the day. And you have families that the only thing you have is screen time, that you may have. It's just, you have to have that progress for that. In addition to family, though, you have to have a vote for the progress for business. Now, so when you take a look at all these, it is a very difficult time to come up with a candidate that covers all this in the way that you think is best. And, so we do the best we can. And we get very excited about people. And eventually those people will let us down on one side or another. But that's just the way of life. But you need to vote with love. You need to vote for progress. You need to vote for stability. You need to vote that everyone has an opportunity. Okay, so that this America is known as a melting pot, but it's also known as the land of opportunity. So when you have the opportunity for people to come in here, doesn't really matter what nationality, doesn't really matter where they came from. Excuse me, doesn't really matter where they came from. Preferably, they come in legally. Nobody questions that. Anybody that comes in illegally, there should be consequences. But, the fact of the matter is that we as a country are known as the land of opportunity, where people come in to this land because they see that they have a chance. It might be risky, but they have a chance to have a better life here than what they had in their previous location. And it doesn't matter what that location is. It could be somewhere, in a communist country. It could be somewhere in the South. It could be Canada. It could be China. It could be, North Korea. It could be any place in the world. It doesn't really matter. There needs to be an acknowledgement of when we vote that our vote is for allowing opportunity in this country, not just for us who are already here, but for those people who are looking for another chance, who are looking to better themselves. People that want to do that with honesty and integrity. Can't emphasize that enough. Honesty and integrity. You combine that with stability. Looks like a pretty good thing. So you need to also vote with the law itself in mind. The law has to be handed out evenly. It can't, the Lady Justice sits there with her scales and they have to balance. They have to balance. That doesn't mean that you or I are always going to get the law the way we want it to be. But it has to be meted out evenly across the board. Doesn't matter what what the crime is or who did the crime. It needs to be absolutely evenly applied. Very hard to do that, but it does. So let me close this. Let me close this. Vote for love. Vote for the love of God. Vote for the love of country. But if you vote with love in your heart and you look at the candidates and the way that they are situated, doesn't matter which election you're talking about. When you take a look at the candidates, which one of them want to do their job with love in their hearts? If we go with that, we're probably not going to go far wrong. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please, I'm GW. Please subscribe, sign, do something below, and I hope that y'all enjoy this. So thank you very much for listening. I hope to do this again, and I will do this again, and I hope you enjoy it. See you all later.